Good afternoon, North Bullitt Christian Church. My name is Keith. This is your weekly ministry update. We have two announcements that we want to bring your attention to this week. First off is an event that we have coming up next weekend, Friday, July 24th to the 25th. It's our kids ministry camp out, and it's going to run from 5:30 p.m. on Friday evening to 10 a.m. on Saturday morning. It's going to be activities. It'll be hosted at the Hubbix residence. They have some property there where the kids can camp in a tent, and it's a great way for our kids to get outdoors and engage in some activities that are socially distanced. And so we're going to be following guidelines there with our children to keep them safe from COVID-19, while also allowing them to get out and have a little bit of fun and fellowship with their church friends. There'll be a pool there, and so if you need more information on this event, feel free to reach out to Karen, our Kids Ministry Director, at karen@northbullettcc.org. And please, if you're going to attend, make sure you RSVP. There's a limited number of spaces. Obviously, we need to make sure there's enough space for every kid to be distanced in that environment, and so make sure you RSVP to her. And then also, coming up in August, we're going to be hosting our annual hashtag for Bullitt County Back to School event. The event's going to look a little bit different this year. Instead of being in person in the auditorium with people kind of walking through, we're going to be doing a drive-through style event out in the parking lot in front of our building. And we're still going to have backpacks to hand out, hygiene bags, and food, obviously, to minister to families in Bullitt County. And so if you're looking for ways to participate and give back to this event, first off, just keep an ear out. We're going to have some volunteer opportunities coming up leading up to that event, and then also obviously the day of that event. But there's two key ways that you can help right now. The first is by adopting a backpack, and so we want to provide all the necessary supplies either for a grade school student or a middle or high school student. And so we have empty backpacks available, just like this, and a supply list on hand that you can take one or as many as you'd like and fill up that backpack with the necessary supplies and then bring it back. You can do this. You can pick this up in person on Sunday mornings during our worship gatherings. We have a table set up. Or also we'll have a few backpacks available during our office hours, which are Monday through Friday, typically from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. With that list available. And then also we would love to provide food for the families that are going to be coming through here. And so we're going to provide a care package for each one of those family units, which consist of a jar of peanut butter, jar of jelly, a box of granola bars, and some ramen noodle packs. And so if you would be interested in buying those items for a family unit, we'd really appreciate that. We're hoping to reach possibly 400 to 500 people this year, and so there's a lot of ground to cover. If you could participate in one or the other of those areas, either adopt a backpack or providing food, or both, or doing a number of those things. You also can, in lieu of doing that, physically going out and buying all those items, feel free to make a donation towards our community outreach. It will help offset the cost, and we have a team of people that are eager to go out and shop for these items too on your behalf. We understand some of you obviously are still staying at home and quarantining, which is completely understandable, and maybe you still want to participate. You can do that through giving towards our community outreach fund. And so with that, typically we've been doing a Theology Spotlight. We are going to take a pause on that this week, and we'll refocus next week on our Theology Spotlight, because I wanted to take a few minutes to reiterate a few things around our worship gatherings on Sunday morning. We're continuing to hope to open things up. A few weeks ago, we added adult Sunday schools. We've had worship gatherings for a few months now, and then we've had a few special events throughout July, and we're looking to add to those things in August, hopefully getting kids ministry back up and running and some student ministry in-person activities. But in order to do those things, we have to make sure that we're still complying with the standards that have been set forth for our reopening guidelines here at North Bullitt Christian Church. And so if you're anything like me, you start getting around, becoming comfortable with people, and as we get more and more comfortable with gathering back in person, kind of the gaps are starting to close on social distancing. We're congregating a little bit longer afterwards. And so we just wanted to reiterate once again that we need to follow the guidelines. We need to make sure as we enter in that we're washing our hands or using hand sanitizer, that we're wearing a mask. especially in the entryway when people are coming in, that we have a mask on, because we can't comply with social distancing standards through that hallway, entryway coming into the building. And then once you get to your seat, although we highly recommend keeping your mask on, we know that some of you need to take it off. And then obviously the mask, if you're not wearing a mask, we understand that it is likely due to health issues, and we're not going to question that. We're just recommending that, highly recommending that at this point. And so a few key pointers: just make sure after the gathering, we're dismissing from the back to the front, that you're exiting the building, that you're not congregating in the hallway or the entryway, especially because it really keeps some of the folks who are elderly or vulnerable, who are really trying to maintain that distance, from getting back out of the building in a timely manner. And so feel free, if you want to have conversations, you can do so in the parking lot, especially since it's outside. It's more safe to do so out there. And that way we can show love to those who are elderly or more vulnerable in our congregation, to be able to help them get through the door and get out and get on their way home while keeping them healthy. So we want to make sure we're complying with these things. Same thing with adult Sunday school. It gets hard because, again, we get more comfortable when we're around each other, but we're counting on you to maintain distance and to comply with the reopening plans that we have. And we really appreciate your compliance with those things. And then lastly, we want to ask that for the rest of this week, you just really spend some time in focused prayer. For those of you on our prayer chain, a number of health concerns that are floating around out there for members of our church that are battling some things. And so if you could really focus on praying for those folks and their families. Truly heartbreaking thing coming up yesterday. Be praying for just those families, that they would feel the peace of God and peace that passes understanding in this time of grief and sorrow. And then with that also, we need to continually be coming before our gracious and compassionate God with the concerns that we have for our community, our state, and our nation is just deeply divided right now over this disease and how to handle it. And be praying that the church would be a source of unity in this time. It would be a light unto the lost, and that we could show the love and compassion of Christ. And so pray for those things. Pray directly for those things. And I know that through that God is going to impress upon our hearts how we can continue to love and serve our community in this time and going forward. So with that, God willing, hope to see you this weekend at either the 9 or the 10:50. Remember, we have adult Sunday school at 10 a.m. We are working on other plans to reopen other things further here at the ministry, so just be waiting and listening for those. We're looking hopefully to get some more stuff up and running in the next few weeks, but we're taking our time and making sure that we are doing things in a safe manner each step of the way that we're going. So be praying for that as well. And like I said, God willing, we'll hope to see you this weekend, 9 or 10:50. If not, we'll be on Facebook Live at 10:50 a.m. and we'll see you virtually on there. Pray that you guys have a great rest of your week.